Welcome to Forum with Len Fasano. I'm State Senator Len Fasano, and I represent the towns of Wallingford, North Haven, and East Haven. We're about to enter a holiday period of time when most of us are getting ready to have a Thanksgiving dinner and other meals with our family members. But you know, at this time, there are certain people who just can't afford food. And what this show is going to talk about is how you can help. I have two very special guests. Nancy Carrington from Connecticut Food Bank, and Cheryl Bedore from Masters Manna in Wallingford. I want to thank you both for coming here today, and I appreciate the time that you're putting into the show. You know, both of you have been on the front lines with respect to the need for food, and I know how you work together, and we'll talk a little bit about that. But the economy has been very bad. Unemployment in the state of Connecticut is at 8.4%. Nationwide, it's at 10.2%. I gather that people have got to be coming to you saying, I just can't afford the food for my kids or for my family or for myself. And the need must be skyrocketing as we hit these tough economic times. Nancy, what are you seeing out there as far as the Connecticut Food Bank?
We're seeing a tremendous increase in demand from the programs to which we provide food. We're seeing on average a 30% increase this year over last year, and that's a pretty staggering number because the economy is just what it is.
And Cheryl, in Wallingford, where Master Manna is located, right? What do you see? What type of clientele are coming to you that maybe you didn't see a year or 2 years ago?
Absolutely. The folks that we see coming through our doors now are the ones that were able to make it paycheck to paycheck. But now the overtime is gone. The 40 hours are gone. Some of them have been cut back to 32 hours. And the paycheck doesn't make it anymore. So we're looking at just middle class, above the working poor. We're looking at the day-to-day folks that, you know, are out there trying to make it work, and it's just not happening anymore.
And I got to believe it's really kind of difficult for these folks to say, you know what, I've got to turn to help like you guys. They're probably very proud people who've never had this opportunity descend upon them, and it's probably going to be very difficult. Do you find that that's what you're seeing out there?
Yeah, it's a very humbling experience, I think, to present oneself at a food pantry to get a bag of groceries or to go to a soup kitchen. Every so often I'll have people say to me, well, are these just lazy people that are going and getting a free ride? But 99% of the time I would say no. These are people who truly are in need and are having to swallow their pride.
Cheryl, same type of thing out there?
Absolutely. I've had some families that actually have been donors in the past that are now in our lines coming through our doors, and it's heart-wrenching.
Well, let's look at, obviously we all know we're in a recession now. As I talked earlier, we have high Connecticut unemployment, nationwide unemployment. But let's look at some numbers. I think we have a graphic that's coming up now to talk about the hunger in Connecticut prior to the recession hitting in it. And Nancy, let's look at a few of the statistics that we have. Now, these are numbers from not last year, as I understand it, but a few years ago. Is
right,
that correct?
I think 3 years ago. And the matter was that people were choosing largely between paying for three things. It was either food or their utility costs, food or their medical costs. Did I just say medical twice? Utilities, medical, and rent or mortgage were the three things that people were struggling with then. 42% with utilities, 34% with the rent, and 30% with medical care. And this, as you said, is before the recession. So I know these things are only exacerbated at this time.
And when we talk about it, I mean, they're numbers. They're just numbers and statistics on the screen. But behind that are moms and dads and kids who are being hit and hit hard, and that's what we're talking. We talk about 42% are deciding, do I feed my kids or do I pay for my utilities to keep my house warm? Do I feed my kids or I pay for my medical costs? Do I feed my kids or not? Those are got to be heart-wrenching decisions, and that's when they come to you guys.
Yeah, and the thing is, we don't have much wiggle room in terms of those, the utilities or rent or medical costs. But with food, you can eat less. and that's what some people are doing. But then there's the reality of children not having enough to eat, or seniors who are on a fixed income. It's important for all of us to have proper nutrition, but it's where this system of food support that used to be called emergency food assistance, unfortunately for many folks, it's now a more long-standing issue because of the income levels that we've spoken of. But it's a place where people can then have more dollars freed up to pay those inflexible bills.
Now, Cheryl, I know that at Masters Manna, one of the things you do the food, and we'll stay on the food for the issue, but I also know that you provide other services there as well. So you see a wide spectrum of folks who need help, not only food. And are you seeing the same thing that Nancy's talking about?
Absolutely. Last year we served 1,109 families. Already this year we're over 1,600 families in our database. It's just an incredible amount of people looking for assistance.
And last year, the governor came down to your old location,
yes, she did.
right? And when she came down, you had hit record numbers at that point. So now
Correct.
you've even beaten those numbers, which makes sense as the recession is getting worse and unemployment is going up. And if there's going to be a jobless rise in the economy, that is, they expect the economy to level off and maybe get a little better, but not soak up jobs. This issue is just not going to go away. It is going to get worse as time goes on. And let's talk about a little bit about the numbers from the Connecticut Food Bank. I think we may have another graphic with respect to the numbers of the tonnage of food, which is just staggering to me. The Connecticut Food Bank, if we look at the graphic, has 35 tons of food every business day. I can't even put my arms around 35 tons of food every single day. I just can't imagine what that would even look like.
Well, it would be more than 2 tractor-trailer loads every day is food that's going out to the programs that we supply food to. It is pretty staggering. Last year we distributed 30 tons a day, and we thought that was pretty fantastic. We were distributing over 16 million pounds last year, and this year we're on a trajectory to hit or exceed 18 million pounds for the whole year.
That's an incredible amount. And looking at that graphic, there's, as you said, in 2008 you did 16 million pounds of food. You think you're going to exceed that, and there's 650 food assistance programs out there. Now, when we say that, what are we talking about, other food assistance programs?
We're talking about soup kitchens where people can go and get a hot meal, food pantries where folks can get a bag of groceries to take home, emergency shelters where people will get a meal when they stay for the night. It's also day programs for people, low-income elders or children. All of the programs to which we provide food are private charities. They're 501c3 tax-exempt organizations, and those are the people that are the organizations to which Connecticut Food Bank provides food.
Now, Cheryl, we were out, we met at the food bank in East Haven. I think we were out there once when Rosa DeLaura came in for some event, and you were doing your shopping, as a matter of fact, for Masters Manna. And what I was impressed about was you actually, there's such an inventory taken of what you're taking, what the needs are. How does that work, and what's the purpose of that?
Well, it's a great purpose, and the system is flawless in my eyes. TFAP is the government surplus. That, because of the size of our organization, we're allotted so many cases of that type of food. We're also able to select from the fresh produce that's available and the fresh dairy products. They also have food that comes in from food drives that's salvage, and we're able to select from that. So there's just a lot of variety that we can get. And I have to share with Nancy, if we didn't have Connecticut Food Bank, we would really not be able to do what we do. Every week when we go to Connecticut Food Bank, every week, we can pick up between 25 and 3,700 pounds of food. And it's gone in a week. It's gone.
I'm glad we can
explain
provide
that,
it.
because I even get a little bit confused on the relationship. Once again, Masters Manna is in Wallingford, and the Food Bank, Connecticut Food Bank, one of its headquarters, or is it the headquarters in East Haven?
Headquarters in our main warehouse is in East Haven, but I do have a warehouse in Waterbury and one in Fairfield. And we contract with 2 other food banks, one in Stamford to serve the 6 towns in that part of the state, and one in